Hello. How is everyone? Hi, Lynn and Dave, probably. And Martha. Good morning, Martha from Chicago. I hope that the weather is good and that everything else is good. And Carolyn, good morning. And Chachi, hello. How are you? Yes. All right. So if any of you want to share anything with me, hi, Stevie. If anybody wants to share anything with me, please share something, text with me, let me know what's going on. I thought of some things we could do today, and hopefully it's okay for you. So if anybody has anything in particular, let me know. And if not, you will be guided, which is nice, right? So just waiting for a couple more minutes just in case you want to share anything with me. And if I go back there, I can't see. Of course, I need to put glasses on to read, kind of. Yeah, so here we are. I've got a wedding to attend tonight. Stressed and overwhelmed. Welcome to the club, Chachi. Gosh. Oh, can we talk about that? It's been really interesting for me these last few months because I've been put into a situation that is so out of my control in many ways and so heavy and so involved. And so I've constantly had to remind myself about present moment, about not going to the future and getting caught up in the what ifs, and in handling and managing what's happening in my life bit by bit and piece by piece. Because we really don't know what the future holds. And it's so easy to go to the negative or the overwhelm. And it's so easy to look at all the components of stress. One of the things that's pretty helpful for me, that's always been really helpful, is that, and I know this is a deeper concept, so it's harder to grasp, but everything is made out of energy, right? All matter is made out of energy. And if you, Nikolai Tesla and Albert Einstein, they say at the core of everything is vibrating energy. So hard to think about my hand as this ball of vibrating energy, and it just so happens to take on this form that becomes a hand. So it's really, really a tough concept. But if I do get into a place where I could kind of understand that I am an energetic being having an experience, and that the experience right now may be heavy and it may be involved with other energy balls that turn into people, and they've got their own stuff to deal with too, right? So especially with family, this is when that really, or relationships. So if I look at us all as balls of energy having experiences, it softens things for me. It makes it easier to not get caught up in my own stuff. And it's almost like you pull yourself out of it. And it's kind of like the witness practice that I speak about all the time these days. That if you live your life as a witness and observer of what's going on, then you're less of the experiencer and more of the observer. And to be observing versus experiencing is noticing and seeing, yet not feeling. And so it kind of takes away the feeling part of stress, the reactive part that happens in our body. And it doesn't matter what age you are or what's going on in your life. This is information that can benefit all of us, is to practice observing more than experiencing, so that we're not stuck in the minutia of it. And I know it's hard, especially if it happens to be family, people you love, and they're struggling or suffering. You want to be there to help them, right? But we have to also still be in that observer role and not in the experiencing their pain. And it's hard. We're energy balls in human form coming in contact with each other, and it's hard to not feel that energetic of someone else. So anyway, it's kind of what's helping me navigate my life when it gets real sticky and heavy. And hopefully some of that wisdom can be beneficial to you. All right, let me see what else is happening here. So Lynn saying hi, Stevie. Oh, Steve, good yoga day, Steve. Steve, I love that you're out there. You're just like such a yogi. Rana, good morning. I think that's how you say it, Rana or Rana. Don't think I've ever met you before, so hello, I'm Debbie. I don't know if you heard my little energy ball speech. I'm not always woo-woo, yet I am woo-woo because yoga is a science. It's a wisdom, it's a science. And the masters that came up with yoga, came up with or absorbed and learned and shared with us human energy balls. This wisdom is a science, and this is about the goal of yoga is to be liberated from suffering. So if this is a class for stress management or stress reduction, then that's what our goal is to be liberated from suffering. So it really does help because, the suffering and the heaviness is up here in the mind. And so when you can take the mind and add some softness and have a different perspective, that can be really helpful. All right. You're new. Great, Rana. Well, if you want to tell me anything in particular, like things you should or shouldn't do, I'll try to be really, especially I'm talking about the physical practice now. Good morning, Joanne. So anyway, anything, if you want to share anything with me, Rana, some of the other people that are here, I know most of them. I've met them in person, not all, but most. And so I know most of the issues that are in people's tissues that are here. And if you wanted to share, that would be great. And if not, that's fine too. Ooh. All right. For some reason, my computer just went, woo, blank. So I hope I didn't get dropped. I don't think so. Anyway, let's practice. Let's practice. Okay, so for today's practice, I'd like you guys to have pillows. Now I have a bolster, and this is a traditional bolster, so it's thick and it's going to support my body weight. I would say for you, maybe pillows off your sofa or a chair, or even pillows that are on your bed would be good. Because some of what we're going to do today, if we prop our body weight up when we put ourselves in certain positions, it helps to protect parts of our body. And we have to do what's appropriate for us. And when we do the physical practice, the postures in yoga, the asana in the practice of yoga, we are actually stretching connective tissue, soft tissue, ligaments, tendons, muscles, fascia. And if you have issues in your tissues, or if you go a little too far, you actually can, I don't want to say the word do damage, but we need to be in a place of protecting our body the whole time. That's what our goal needs to be. So that's why I want you to get some props today, please. I want you to have pillows, because some of the things we're going to do today will be better for your body if you have something to support the weight of your body when we're in certain positions. So go ahead and get 2 pillows or something, and then also a blanket, a block or a rolled up towel, and a strap. It's always good to have props in case you need them. Depending on what position we're in, for some of you, you may need some of these, and then some of the stuff that I teach, actually we do use it. So go ahead and get those right now. And I'm going to put a do not disturb on my computer because I keep disturbed. I thought I did that already. Sorry, but I am being disturbed and I don't want to be disturbed. Okay. All right. So hopefully you have what you need, and I want to do something with those pillows right away. So wherever they are, I want them to be elevated. So I either want them to go underneath your knees to support your back. We're going to focus in today's class a lot on this part of our body here, from the lower ribs to the pelvis. So this whole part of our body, maybe many refer to it as the core. It's the support of the trunk. It's where so much of our daily life takes place here, whether we're sitting and compressing this area, whether we sit a lot and have a lot of tightness in this area. And so I'd really like to create freedom today in this midsection, the rotational muscles, the core muscles, low back muscles, and that will help to take a lot of stress out of the spine, and the low back in particular, and out of hip joint and knee joint. And so to begin with an elevation, if you had 2 pillows, you could go pretty high here. and do a really nice elevation, and that'll be really relaxing for the back. And many people seem to have low back issues, so it's always nice to be supportive of the low back. So we're gonna come onto our back, and then depending on where your mental energy is right now, we're gonna come onto the ground. And so that may be challenging for some of you that have mental energy that's a little bit more active. So just notice if that's you. And then you're gonna put your blanket up at the top of your mat, and you're gonna bring yourself down. If you have osteoporosis, come to the side when you come down so that you protect. And for osteoporosis, this part of the body is very important to raise awareness of, because this is the part of the body where most of the fractures occur. And once you start fracturing your spine when you have osteoporosis, it can lead into a greater risk of fractures in the hip and other areas of the body. All right, so let's come down onto the ground at first, and then let's arrange our shoulder blades onto our back. So if you lift your upper back off the floor and you slide your shoulder blades onto your back, then go ahead and take the legs really long here. The bolster or blankets or pillows or whatever you have goes underneath either the knee joint or the upper thighs. So play with that, see what feels appropriate. And then for some of you, you may even want to have a little bit of an external rotation in your body. So if you take the soles of your feet together and you allow the knees to fall out to the sides, that can add a little opening here in the pelvic area, allowing more flow from feet all the way up to brain, opening up a major highway in the body for a lot of vessels. And then bring your awareness to your neck, nice long neck. And then let's do a little bit with the arms at first. Let's be a little active at first to get some softness into the body and to really ground the mental energy into the body. Closing your eyes, feel the center of the head on the ground. We're going to take the arms and we're going to imagine we're doing like snow angels. You know, if you lie down on the snow and you move your arms up and down, your arms and legs, you make angels in the snow. Well, we're going to do that here with our arms, taking the arms up towards overhead and down towards the waist. I'd like you to go slow though. And depending on where you are in your life, in your body, there may be stickiness, there may be issues, there may be arthritis, there may be previous injuries in the shoulders. So go slow with your eyes closed. Explore what's safe as you move up. Hands go towards each other, down, elbows come towards the waist. And move up and down really nice and gentle. Pay attention to whether you hear or feel movement in the back of your skeleton, your joints, your bones. As you do this, it has a ability to add a little correction in the shoulder girdle. And for those of you that sit a lot, this is really important to keep mobility in your upper body and to not let yourself get stuck like Mr. Magoo or Quasimodo, the Hunchback of Notre Dame. So make sure that you always keep that mobility and fluidity in your body, and that'll help with the mobility and fluidity in your mind. So allow your arms to go up and down, feeling, noticing, arriving to this moment. And then bring your arms out to the side, all the way out like a letter T. Let the backs of the hands be on the ground and the palms are up towards the sky. And then slowly allow the weight of the arms to relax. Notice how the low back feels here. And if the low back doesn't feel good, you could bend your knees and put your feet flat on the ground, or bring the bolster or pillows closer to your pelvis and support the weight of your upper leg bones. And when you are resting, eyes are closed, begin to notice whatever it is that comes up for you. Allowing yourself to be in the present moment, to be in the body, exploring and feeling, is the best way to manage your stress. to come present moment, to stop any subconscious brain activity that happens for all of us, some more than others, to be using the part of your brain that's right here, right now. That is the ultimate way to heal yourself. That is the best tool we have to manage stress and to manage health and wellness, is present moment. Bring your awareness to your mouth. Open and close your mouth really wide. So open your mouth really wide. Maybe you feel a readjustment in your cervical spine, the upper back neck spine, where the spine attaches to the skull. See if you could get some kind of movement in your body. Lots of stress is stored in our jaw. So open your mouth really wide and slow. And close. And bring your awareness to your eyeballs, to your eyes. Squint your eyes, really squint, like you're trying to see something super, super tiny. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze your eyes. Feel the muscles contract like you're making a fist with your eyes. And then slowly, slowly, slowly relax. Again, squish, squish, squish your eyes, squint them, make them contract the muscles. And then relax. Now your face. Pucker your face up like you were eating a lemon, and maybe even think of a lemon or a lime that's really sour. And right now it's coming up to your mouth. You're opening up your mouth. You're biting it with your teeth. It's a super, super sour, sour lemon. Make a very strong pucker face, like, ooh. And slowly release. Use the facial muscles consciously, because stress uses them unconsciously. So I want you to use them consciously. Again, take your facial muscles and pucker or make everything as tight as you can. And then slowly, slowly, slowly release. So the intelligence that is you, the intelligence that is protecting you always, uses muscular contraction to position your body either to get the heck out of here or to turn into a ball and cower in protection. And your beautiful brain does not know the difference between a real tiger with saliva dripping off of its incisors and fangs and claws exposed versus the stresses and pressures of life, of money, of family, of illness, of uncertainty, of hopelessness, of grief, of sadness. So let's be present moment right now, and let's allow none of that to exist for us. Feel the feet, the soles of the feet come down to the left foot, the sole. Can you feel your arch? Any tingling, any sensations? Feel your left heel, your left toes. Can you feel the flesh or the space between the left pinky toe and the second toe? Or the second toe and the third, or the third and the fourth? Bring your awareness over to your right sole. Do you feel the temperature of the room? Tingling on your skin? What about the tips of the right toes? The pinky, the next, the next, the next, the next. Do you feel the very tips of them? Can you feel a sensation? There's a lot of stuff going on in there. Nerves are communicating. Blood is being moved around your body. Cells are working to create energy for you. Each cell right now, totally active. Can you feel that in your right toes? Any activity that you could detect? Like little factories, constantly working, remodeling, making energy. eating and consuming what they need and getting rid of what they don't. All day, every day. Thank you, cells. Feel the heaviness of the left foot, the heaviness of the left leg, the heaviness of the right foot, and the heaviness of the right leg. Let it be heavy. And when you feel that heaviness, your body's relaxing. Let that happen. Bring your awareness to your pelvis. Let your pelvis be heavy and relaxed. The hips are relaxed. Can you feel the flow of nerves and nervous system communication branching off of each side of your spine down to your left foot, down to your right foot? That's happening right now. And bring your awareness to your belly. Lots and lots of stuff is happening here. This is where your microbiome, your gut microbiome, 22 feet of intestines. This is your garden. We're 90% microbes and only 10% human. What can you notice right now in your tummy, in your gut? So notice if you feel activity, sense activity. Maybe if you ate recently, you'll hear some digestive sounds. And then bring your awareness to your little friends, your microbes. How's the feeling right now? How is your gut feeling? You know, that gut instinct, safety, fear, all that. What's your tummy telling you right now? Some call it the second brain. Many call it the second brain. And many people believe that everything begins here in your gut. What's it communicating with you right now? Bring your breath to your belly so you feel this part of your body expand and contract with breath. So the space below the ribs and where the legs attach to the body, can you allow this to be where you breathe? So you bring the movement here. At the top part of that, so the lower ribs are lined with your primary breathing muscle called your diaphragm. And it's like there's two sides, right and left. And it's like the wings of a big manta ray in the ocean that flap up and down fluidly with movement as the manta ray floats through the ocean. So let's allow this muscle to float. On the inhale, it floats downward. The center moves down towards the pelvic floor. And as you exhale, you push up, up, up to breath out of your lungs. Diaphragm moves up to push towards the lungs. And as you breathe in, it draws down and it actually draws breath. There's a volume created to suck in the inhale. And that's actually what we have control over as our inhale. So let's work with that control of the inhale. So take an exhale, a big exhale. As you inhale, let the diaphragm move down towards your pelvic floor. Draw in, suck in as much breath as you can. Feel your belly get as big as it can. So much so that you feel stretching in your tissue. On these next couple of breaths, breathe in and to the sides so that the belly gets big and the sides stretch and you feel that stretch. Now to the back. Feel the low back press towards the floor as you deeply bring in as much oxygen as you can into your body. Bring as much breath. Focus on the inhale. Now, we're going to switch. We're going to take charge of the exhale because the exhale is an involuntary process. We don't do it. It happens on its own. It's a recoiling of muscles. And in yoga, we actually take control of the exhale. So we're going to take control of our exhale. The first time we're going to count 4 for our exhale. Then we're going to move up to 5 to 6 to 7 to 8 to 9 to 10. Maybe at some point that'll be too much for you. Let's see what we could do. All right, let's prepare. Take a big exhale. Inhale. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. Adding on, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. Adding on, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale. Adding on, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale. Adding on, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale. Adding on, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Inhale. Adding on, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Inhale. You exhale to whatever number is appropriate for you. If you could do 10, try 10. Finish up whatever breath you're on. And take 2 more just like that. And when you finish the last breath, let it go. Give the breath back to your body to breathe you. Allow yourself to be breathed and be an observer. Feel the heaviness of your body. Feel the parts of your body that are touching whatever they're touching. Relax, relax, relax. Bring your awareness to your fingers and your toes. If you start to bring movement to the fingers, to the toes. If you're able to take your arms overhead, if your shoulders will let you, take your arms overhead, reach your legs long. Body will allow you to do, and be okay with whatever range of motion you have today. You could work on getting more, but be okay with whatever you have today. Maybe you have some stickiness in your joints. They won't let you move too much. You have arthritis, you have injuries, trauma, whatever. Move and be okay with whatever it is you've got. And then a little movement up and down like you're climbing up a ladder. There's a ladder right in front of you and you're reaching up to one rung and then the other. And maybe for you with shoulder issues, it's here. And be okay with being here. Just accept where you are today in your physical body. It took years to get to where you are. Be okay with where it is. And if you want to move beyond where you are, then great, you're in the right place. And then go ahead and let's bend our legs. Come on your blankets or whatever feels right. Take your arms out to the side. Let's do a little side to side. Start to warm up this midsection of the body where the lower ribs and the legs attach. You could open up your eyes if you'd like. And I'd like you to notice in this last few minutes, were you very much here in this moment in your body? That was a lot of somatic grounding. We took an elevator from our mind into our body. We took a escalator from the back and the bottom of our brain, our limbic loop, our primitive brain, our protective safety brain, and we came to the front of our brain, our deeper intellect brain, our present moment brain. That act in and of itself, so healing. That's what we need more of. That's where we don't think about all the stuff that's going on in our lives and the anchors in our lives that weigh us down, that stress us out, that put us in this place in our body where we do have limited range of motion and we have issues in our tissues. If you're able to gently come into a twist to one side, let that happen. The closer your legs are together, maybe actually I'd say wider than body would be the safest place to be. If the feet are closer together, you're going to tip your pelvis a little bit more. You're going to go into your low back. Not so good for many of you. So if you're wider than your body and you let your legs go to the side, it's a little bit more pelvic stability and less coming into low back. And then if you're even wider with your legs when you go to the side, you're going to be a little bit more hip area, leg area. So just notice what's appropriate to you and raise your awareness to the fact that this is what's happening with your body. And then come back up to center, and another gentle twist to the other side helps to be elevated here. It's the beginning of the physical practice, not a lot of movement in the body yet, might be a little sticky, might have some cobwebs we need to clear away before we could start really moving deeply in our joints. So elevated legs helps us a little bit. Do what is appropriate for you. And then bring yourself back to center. Let's take one leg up into the air and then the other, and then a little wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, 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 so your legs can be nice in the pelvis. This can help to settle low back. And we're going to focus on that area today. So I want now to bring that lumbar spine, that low back spine, into a neutral curve or the opposite curve of the way that it lives every day. And I want these leg bones to sink deep into the pelvis, and then the arms up here so that shoulder can be nice and relaxed. And then wiggle, 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 wiggle. And then draw your knees into your chest. Got to take care of this body you live in. It's the only one you're going to get this time around. Of course, we can always get replacement parts, which I highly recommend. That's because I have a hip replacement. I say that. And if we need it, we need it. And then bring yourself onto your side. And then get your move safely, please. Take your hand on the floor. Let your shoulder be what raises the most, not your head. So don't lift your head to come up. That's going to give you upper back, neck, and head area issues. Let's use your strong arm muscles to push away from the floor to come up. All right. So I'm going to begin with a little bit more flowing movements through the joints. So you're going to need to pay attention to what your body will allow you to do. That's important. Let's warm up our upper body first in a seated position. I personally love to be in hero's posture, which is this. And I know not all the knees will let you do this. And I really love it to put a block between my ankle joint and to sit back on top of the block and be a little bit elevated so it's not quite as compressive here on my knee. That's my favorite. You may need to put something else between you. This is also good. Oh, maybe today I'll try this one. This is pillows or blankets in between, or sit in a crisscross leg position if knees won't let you bend. Okay, so we're gonna do a little bit of fluidity with the upper body here. We began today opening up our chest a little bit. Let's go with this a little more. And I'd like you to pay attention to your shoulders, because for many of us, the shoulders live here or they live here, right? They're forward. So let's do a little bit to loosen up stuff here, just like we are coming to an attic and there's cobwebs, and we need to go like this to get the cobwebs away. So in your body, those are adhesions. They're made out of minerals. And guess where the minerals come from? Create the adhesions. Some of it's from food, and then the stored part is in our bones. So that part of contributing to bone density loss. So let's clear up the cobwebs. Inhale, and then exhale to hug yourself. Inhale, let your throat be open. Feel the stretch here. Exhale. Those of you that sit a lot, this is a great way to take a break after sitting. Inhale. Exhale. Let's play with the arm motion. Down low with the arms. Exhale. A little higher. A little higher, if you can. A little higher. Ooh, you feel more stretching? A little higher. And then for those of you that are able to do this part, when you do this, there is such a strong stretch in between lower ribs and pubis bone, the whole abdominal area. So be wherever you can be right now. If you're pretty tight, why don't you imagine that you're in a pool doing this so that your body weight is gone and you're moving through water and there's a safety feature for whatever it is that's happening. All right, take your hands on top of your shoulders. Nice long body, long neck. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, chin to chest, elbows towards each other. Inhale up. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale. Exhale. So the neck is moving out of the spine. The head, so your skull that's on top of your neck. So all the tissues hold your head on top of your body. And for those of you that sit a lot, there's a lot of stored tension here, a lot of holding in this part of your body. Elbows come together, throat open. And then bring yourself back to center. Just a little bit of lateral, so bending the spine here. You're going to inhale up and exhale over. This is one of the most yummy feelings for me. So really pull the lower ribs away from the pelvis. Create space in the middle part of your body. Inhale up and exhale over. And then bring yourself back to center. Let's take the hands, shake the hands. Take your fingers, look at your fingers. You have a joint all the way at the top, and you have a joint in the middle and a joint where that finger's attached to the hand. You have 3 joints in each finger, 2 in the thumbs. There are more bones in the hands and feet than anywhere else. 206 bones in the body. We have 27 here and 26 in each foot, right? So 54 and 52, right? Yeah, 54 and 52. 106 bones out of 206. Half of all the bones are in the fingers, hands, toes, and feet. Isn't that crazy? So then that means there's a joint. That's how many joints there are. Because in between bones are joints. And so when we talk about arthritis, we talk about pain, we talk about inflammation in joints, we talk about the need for minerals to leave the bones to go lay down inflammation stuff, like protection stuff. So move your fingers. You've got to keep your fingers movable and mobile. And then take your wrists. There's 8 bones in the wrist, right? So you come off 27 and 8. What is that? 35. 35, that's 70. That's a lot out of 206. Like, oh my gosh, almost everything is right here. And that's why there's so many neurons for all the joints and all that movement. And that's why we can have so much power here in our hands for our brain. All right, let's take whatever it is you were using, the bolster, whatever it is, and we're going to use that now because we're going to do a little flow. And I want you guys to be careful here because I have the ability to do things in my body that you may not. And so this is not about doing it the way that I'm doing it. This is about this. Here's my spine. This is about taking my spine into what's called a back bend. And then not so much of a forward bend because we live so much like this. And if you have osteoporosis, see my upper back area? That's a no-no. We really want to minimize that. So when we come into the backward part of this, we're going to have a straight spine, an elongated spine. And the front part, I want you to really stretch from a to pubis bone, right here where your pubis bone is, really stretch that whole midline. And that's going to also get in there and stretch the psoas, which is your filet mignon, and it's a sitting muscle. So we're going to go through a flow here of this is puppy dog with the tushy in the air. Pelvis stays up here. And there's not a super deep bend here in my hip joint. If I bend deeper, I come into child's. So I guess for some of you that want to go back into child's posture, you could. And if you have osteoporosis, keep your pelvis up in the air in puppy dog. And so the exhale here, and then inhale to come forward. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Exhale back. So quite often people tell me, not quite often, but there's a couple of people that tell me after they do this, ooh, I think I stretched a little bit too much. So you have to be careful because this is taking sitting out of your body. If you're a sitter, go slow, be nice. Inhale forward, open your throat, open your body. Exhale back. Either all the way into your child or into puppy. Inhale. Exhale. Next time you come forward, stay forward. That's why having the props on your belly may be a little bit more helpful. And then I'd like you to look over one shoulder towards your feet and then look over the other shoulder towards the other side. Go slow here. Deep muscles all the way down your spine, up your spine. One more. And then bring yourself up. All right. Let's take that prop. Okay. So come on to all fours. Walk your hands forward, your feet back. Point your fingers are forward. Take your hands directly underneath your shoulders. Take your foot back and stretch your calf. All 5 toes are touching. Make sure it's not just big toe and second toe. So get all 5 toes touching and push your body weight back. See how there's a movement forward and a movement back? Let's do the same thing with the other side. Flip the toes under, back and forward. Move back and forward. And then bring yourself up. You're waiting on your wrists. I'd like you to put some, do whatever you can do. Try to put some weight on your wrists if you can. And if you can't, come down to forearms so that most of the weight's on the elbow, the forearm, and the hand. And that's an alternative for people that can't do this. We're going to come into plank. I'm going to do it for a minute. We're going to get a lot of muscles with this one posture here. You're going to do what's appropriate for your body, taking the hands onto the ground. Take your feet back so you can either do plank or modified plank or come down into the dolphin version. All right, let's go. Feet under, come all the way up. Now I want you to rock forward and back, and then push yourself back. So you're equally weighted. And then bring your awareness to those 27 bones in each hand. Push that into the floor, the fingers, all those joints that we were just paying attention to. So every single finger bone and joint is pressing into the floor, and even the palms are pressing into the floor. So it's not just all about the wrist. Evenly distribute the weight that's in your hands. Lengthen your body from the crown of the head to the tailbone. Stay in it for a minute, and if you need to come down at any point, please do so. It's your practice. Now bring your awareness to your feet. Push all 5 toes on both sides. Really push those heels back so you feel the calf stretch. And push away from the floor like crazy with your feet. Push away from the floor like crazy with your hands. Nice, strong posture to keep strong. Let's do I want to do the opposite of that. Let's do the opposite of that. For those of you with the wrists, let's see how it goes. We're going to come into a tabletop. So we're going to push away from the floor here. Now, you may be able to come into fists for wrists if your wrists really don't like this, making this position as opposed to this. So if your wrists are kind of cranky right now, you could try fists for wrists. Or if you're okay, I'd like fingers pointing forward, wrists bent, feet are on the ground. Let's inhale. And then exhale, push away, come up and stay up. We won't be here for a minute. We'll be here for 5 breaths. Take 5 big breaths here. Really push your chest up, reach your knees away from you. Push your feet into the floor, push your hands into the floor. Feel that stretch across the shoulders if it feels appropriate for you. One more. And then bring yourself down. Take your fingertips into the floor like you're holding a frosted cupcake. I'm not bending my wrist. I'm on my fingers. I want strong fingers here. Let's warm up those rotational muscles, that part of your body in between low ribs and pelvis. Let your body go side to side. And this actually does a lot of hip. Let your chest be pressing up towards the sky. Right? So creating this nice strong body, stretching your body, getting rid of stored tension. And then bring yourself up, soles of the feet together. And nice and tall. Inner thighs. Because they attach to that pelvis, so it's really important. Pelvic position. And the end of your psoas, the deep muscle that's attached to your spine and the center of your body, attaches onto the inner leg bone. So stretching that lower part of the psoas. And with that, I'd like to come down and stretch the upper part of the psoas. It attaches to the 5 lower vertebrae. And we're going to come down into the ground and we're going to stretch this part. So you'll probably feel on either side when we move to either side, you'll feel a stretch on either side of the spine. That's the goal here. So we're going to come down into the ground and see if we can feel this. I'd say that the majority of the time people are able to experience this. So let's see what happens when we come down. I'd like us to come down with the potential of strengthening our upper body. So if you take your hands pretty wide, pointer fingers are forward. So walk your hands pretty forward. And then your belly button comes closer to the ground. So that's the important part. Then you start to bend your elbows. Face is forward, head is forward. It's pretty challenging. If you need a plop at the end, go ahead and plop. And then you're going to come here into Sphinx posture. So you're on your pelvis, let your toenails be flat. And then push your elbows into the floor, push your hands into the floor, and pull your rib cage forward towards the front edge of your mat. And then push away from the floor. See if you could feel a stretch in your belly, right below the ribs, down towards the pubis bone. So stretching the abdominal area. This is very helpful for those of you that sit a lot, and I think most of us do, or even we're in that forward position. So really opening up the front of the body. Then from here, you're gonna hold on to your elbows. So your hands are here, and you're gonna bring them so that the right hand comes to the left elbow, left hand goes to the right elbow. And then walk the elbows a little bit closer so that you actually have your hands touching your elbows. And then let's walk ourselves over to our left. So walk over to the left. So my pelvis is on the floor and my upper torso is moving over. It's laterally flexing to the left. Now the right elbow comes right underneath the right shoulder. Push away from the floor and try to lift the right side of your body, the ribs, and away from the floor. And see if you feel that stretch in that lower right side. And the more you lift away from the floor, you'll feel the top part of your psoas, which is attached to the 5 lumbar vertebra. You'll feel that stretch. And then to protect the low back, pubis bone, which is the bone at the very bottom of your pelvic area, push that towards the floor and point the tailbone down towards. So really point the tailbone down towards the feet. That can help add a little bit of a posterior tilt in your pelvis and help some of you that have issues in the low back when you do this. Take one more breath. And then you're going to bring yourself over to the other side. So we're going to walk with our elbows. So have your elbows walking away from you and over to the right. And then your left elbow comes directly underneath your left shoulder. You push away from the floor and you lift your left lower body away from the floor. So the action is to keep lifting away from the floor and see if you feel a deep stretch down there. Let your pelvis be heavy. Deep breaths down to your belly. Take one more breath. So let's take some tension out of the low back area. Take your hands pretty wide. One hand on top of the other, and then spread your legs here. Can you flip your toes under so that the ankle, the inner edge of the foot, the big toe edge touches the ground? The neck is long and the forehead rests on the back of the hands. This is called crocodile. And then breathe down to your belly, all the way down towards the pelvic floor. So let breath here do some stretching in the abdominal area. Take one more breath. And then go ahead, bend your knees, bring your feet up in the air, and do a little bit of side to side. Go slowly here. And try to make it pretty passive so that you're letting the weight of the feet go side to side. And you may need to bring your legs a little closer together. So this is to relax a little tension in the low back area. Be in your back, make sure it feels appropriate. And then do a little temper tantrum. Temper tantrum with your feet. See if you can get your heels to come closer to your tushy. And then let's roll onto our side. I guess that would really be a good stress releaser too. If you were in a really stressed state, to go on the ground and to do a little temper tantrum like a little 2-year-old. All right, let's push ourselves away from the floor to bring your body up. Let's take at the top of your mat. You're gonna need your block and the strap for this as well. Okay, bring yourself all the way down onto the ground. Let's draw the knees into the chest to help recalibrate and put the low back into that flexion position. And then let the feet go onto the ground. Arms are to the side. Let's do windshield wiper action here. So the feet are wide, a little bit wider than your body, side to side. Rotation, when you do rotational work, you have to be careful, especially for those of you with low back issues, because that protection in the body, the part of you that keeps you safe, for those with low back issues, this rotation, sometimes you have to go really, really slow and introduce it so your body doesn't go into a real contracted protective state. And then when it becomes rigid and hard and you're trying to stretch, it's not so good. Let's let your knees fall towards one side, whatever that is. Let your head go in the opposite direction. Just experiencing this wherever you do. For me, I definitely feel this right around that hip bone area on this side. Not necessarily going to do the same thing on all sides or both sides. Inhale. Exhale, belly button to your spine. Bring yourself back up. One thing that you could do when you're doing rotation to stay really safe is this. Knees are back to center. Feel the heaviness of the center of your pelvis. That's your sacrum. That's the base of your spine. And then do a little bit of side to side where you feel the top edge of your pelvis. Close your eyes. Feel yourself rocking from side to side across the top of your pelvis. Now bring yourself back to center. Close your eyes when you do this. Your knees are up to the side, like your hands are up to the side. Now let your legs slowly go towards the other side and feel how your body rocks towards the top edge of your pelvis. So you're still on the top edge of your pelvis. And then bring yourself back up to center. Now, let your knees go, be in the center of your pelvis, not necessarily the top edge. Let yourself be in the center. So now when you rock over, you'll probably go a little farther and the weight of your body will be in the center of your buttock at the back of the hip joint. It's a different place and you're deeply rotating. Right? So it's feeling it in the front of the body, feeling it in the back. It depends on the tilt of the pelvis when you come into rotation. So now on this side, I definitely feel it still in the front of my hip. And then turn your head in the opposite direction of the knees. Notice if you feel it in your low back, and if you do, is it appropriate? Hug your lumbar spine with your core. So feel that you're contracting your center body to protect that low back area. Got to be in your body when you do this part of your body, when you stretch this midsection area. There's a lot of protective aspects to this part of your body. Take one more breath and then exhale back up to center. So think about it. The only bones that exist between the top of your pelvis and the lower ribs are 5 low back vertebrae. That's it. There's 5. Happens to be the biggest part of our spine. They're pretty big bones. But there's only 5 bones there. Everything else is muscles and tissue and all the organs. So the body, the protection of, wait, where are you? Wait, where are you? There's so much protection here. Let's contract and hold. So a lot of subconscious protection. So when you do rotation on your midsection, when you do stretch and pull these muscles, you have to be really present moment with it and not just throw your bag of bones around. All right, let's take the, we're gonna go to a deeper twist. That was the beginning twist. And the twists are where people kind of get a little messed up, so to speak. All right, take your, actually take your feet on the floor, pick your pelvis up, turn your pelvis, move your pelvis over to the left, and then draw your knees in. And slowly, so feel the back of your body, feel the center of the pelvis as you rock towards the side on your buttock, towards the side. Go slow here because your low back is being stretched. Notice what's appropriate. Maybe when you get here, the pull is pretty intense and you would prefer to put a block underneath your legs or in between your legs. Notice what feels better. And it could be pillows or blankets. And then you could go a little deeper, holding on to your left leg here, because the legs are to the right now. Hold on to the left leg with the right arm, and then try to get the left shoulder blade to touch the floor. So the protection of the body is that the left shoulder blade is going to lift away from the floor if the weight of the knees is all the way over to the right. So I'd say that many injuries come from flexion and from rotation. And so when people are bending forward and they're reaching to get, a lot of people pull a muscle or pull their back or hurt themselves. So if you do this slowly and with awareness and create more space in this part of your body, but also that awareness of how you're moving, it's a way to keep yourself safe when you move. And then because this is protective, there's a lot of stress, stored stress in the muscles. Deep breaths to your belly. Maybe you want to take that top leg and move the leg out to the side, forward. I tell you that as a yoga therapist teaching for years and years and years to many people, and especially people with issues in their tissues, twisting is one of the movements that I try to be the most directive and the most cautious, because it's where I receive the most texts or emails or comments after class or after I work with somebody on, I felt that, either for a good feeling that or not good feeling that. So you really got to be aware. You can't just throw your bag of bones around when you come into rotation. Deep breaths to your belly. Try to create space in your left waist here. So that left top pelvis, push it away with your muscles. If you want to take your left hand, use your left hand on the top of the ridge of your pelvis and push it away. Feel that stretch there. And with osteoporosis, when we do assessments, the space here between your top pelvis and lower ribs is one of the areas that is measured to see if you potentially have spinal wedge fractures. So really keeping space in this part of your body is so important for bone health. Reach your left hand away like crazy. That'll deepen the stretch in the upper part of this twist. Take one more breath. And we're going to go slow here. You're going to bend the left knee. You're going to bring the left knee up first, independent of the right, and then you're going to bring the right along for the breath. Bring yourself back to center. Let's go to the other side. Slow with awareness, because this is where I see a lot of injuries, when people are stretching their body and they go a little bit too fast, too deep, and without awareness. Lift your pelvis up, move it off to the right, draw your knees in one at a time, and then using the block if you need, you're going to let your knees move over to the side, putting the block wherever you need it if you need it. Holding onto your right knee if that's appropriate for you. And then trying to get that right shoulder blade to touch the ground. Boy, do I feel a lot of spinal correction in my body when I do this. I feel movement of my joints in my spine because of my issues, whatever my body issues are. So feel your way in, allow yourself to be here. And if you'd like to explore taking the right leg a little away from your body may deepen that stretch for you, maybe in an appropriate way, maybe not. So see what's right for you. And then create space from that top right waist. If you want to take your hand to push the pelvis slowly, not pushing it hard, pushing it with awareness, allowing your body to be okay with that. Because there may be adjustments. I just felt a spinal adjustment from that. And then I'm going to try to find it with my muscles. Notice if you feel the same on one side versus the other. Deep breath here. Take one more breath. And then you're going to bring one knee slowly at a time. Bring yourself up. Bring yourself back. Let's take a block underneath your pelvis or a pillow. And then if you can, I want you to come into legs straight. Maybe for you, you might need to do one at a time. Maybe you could do two. Arms could be overhead, or if you need, you could hold on to your elbows bent and hold on behind your head. Trying to really stretch those hip flexor muscles. Breathe down to your belly. You could try to point your toes to the ground. One more. Again, really stretching this whole middle section of the body. Bend your knees. Let's take your feet off. Grab your strap. We're going to stretch hamstrings and calves and the backs of the legs. So when you come into this, you're going to draw your feet up. You're going to put the strap around both feet. Have your feet be hip distance. Okay? So hip distance. Your legs are not together. Your legs are hip distance. I want you to bring the strap to the top part of your feet where you're right below the toes. And then push your heels up towards the sky. Keep your knees straight. Stretch all the way down the back leg. And then draw the legs back towards the wall behind you. Try not to let your feet collapse. So very active feet. Feel that back body, that stretch. Drawing the legs towards the wall behind you, pulling the toes down. I want you to feel as much stretch behind your legs as you can. Calves and hamstrings and glutes and low back. Take one more breath. And then come out. Let's come into happy baby to settle the back in case anything happened. So the legs are wide, and then you're going to bend the knees, hold on behind your upper thighs, and rock side to side. If you're able to reach up and hold on to your feet with your legs spread. So I don't want you to hold your feet if your feet have to come together to hold them. You want your legs really spread here. So if you cannot grab your feet, that's okay. Grab underneath here, or you could grab your big toes and rock side to side. Taking tension out of the low back, settling the low back, deeply stretching the legs where they attach to pelvis to free up pulling in that low back area. And then go ahead. We're going to come into the final rest, the Shavasana, allowing the integration of everything that happened today in class to sink into your tissues. to become you, the new you that you created in today's practice, all the opening, the release, the clearing of the cobwebs. So get yourself nice and comfortable coming into your Shavasana. Focus on the breath. You could repeat the words peace, peace. Gently begin. Bring awareness to your body, onto your feet, left toes. Start to wiggle them. Bring movement into the feet, into the ankles. Then bend the knees, put the feet flat on the ground. Bring your awareness to your fingers. Start to move your fingers. Open and close your hands. Roll your wrists. And then draw the knees in one at a time. Feel the low back go into the floor, side to side. See how that part of your body feels. And then roll onto your right side or your left. You're going to push yourself away from the floor, coming into a seated position. Keep your eyes closed, let your palms rub together. Feel them touching each other, and the thumb touches the sternum bone as you sit nice and tall. Noticing what you notice. We'll close with sound, the sound. Let's prepare by taking a big exhale. Inhale all the way down to the base of your spine. Bowing in namaste. Namaste. Well, boy, do I feel relaxed right now. I will say that at the beginning of class today, that guided meditation where we did the breath and then we counted down, the exhale, we took over. That was probably the longest guided meditation I've ever done. I couldn't believe it when I looked at the clock and I'm like, what? So I wonder if you guys felt pretty relaxed at the beginning of class today. And I hope that all your backs feel okay, because really the twisting, it's just so crazy how many people get injured doing twists, whether it's in yoga or in life. So let me see. Stan, you're here. I hope that was okay for you. I was thinking of you today, Stan, when I was doing all that twisting stuff. Michael, good. Nancy, oh, all my Wednesday people. Great, Michael, perfect for you. Okay, so Lynn, you feel wonderful. It's a new word we're gonna call it. I feel so wonderful. Joanne, great. Lynn and Dave and Steve and everyone. Great, Rana. I think it's Rana or Rana, sorry. Anyway, good. Well, I know, wonderful. All right, well, I hope you guys feel great. Remember, the inhale is voluntary, the exhale is involuntary. So take control of your exhale to help manage your stress. That's a big part of that. Good. Yes, Chachi, I get it. Believe me, I feel the same way. I'm back to self-care, self-love. All right, everyone. And Chachi, a lot of good stuff there today for you to do with those you work with. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful weekend, Lynn. All right. Have a wonderful weekend. See you all later. Bye.